Welcome to a new Inner Growth Lounge. Today, I'm very happy to have here with me Hannah Roper, an entrepreneur, radio host, and country music singer. She is the driving force behind the female creative and empowering community for creative businesses. With over 9 years of business success and 20 years of learning and development, Hannah offers valuable guidance to women navigating business. Do we need that? Hannah has embarked on a transformative journey, balancing business and corporate careers, embodying strategic thinking and work-life balance, shining a light for women in business. And you're precious. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much. Hello, I'm so pleased to be here.
I've been thinking. I work with women, as you know, mostly in leadership. So I find what you do so precious because we do need to create a new prototype as far as what a woman, a businesswoman is, mother businesswoman is.
Yes.
So how do you support because you work with both, right? Women and men.
Predominantly women I work with. I have worked with a couple of men and also some people that identify as non-binary as well, but predominantly women because I understand.
Yeah. So how do you support creative entrepreneurs to achieve their goals?
So I think the biggest thing that I can provide for women in business, especially those that are juggling other things. So it might be that they work in a corporate world, they might have another job that they're doing, they're mums, or they've got caring responsibilities. And I guess for me, the biggest thing is around creating that safe space to show women that they can do it all, they can have it all. And I don't mean have it all in, the big dream. I want everything, I want the whole world. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely support that. But for me, it is about saying, well, you can do all these things. You can follow your passion and you can monetize your passion. And this is how you do it. Let's set some foundations. Let's build this slowly. Let's move away from this glorification of hustle culture and overnight success and working yourself into the ground and burning out. Let's look at your whole life. Let's look at what you want to achieve within that, and let's map that out. Let's set goals that are manageable, that push you a little bit, but don't add to the overwhelm. Because as women, as mums, whatever industry we're working in, I would say probably 99.9% of women feel overwhelmed at some point in their day. And I don't want to add to that. So it's all about creating that really individual step-by-step guidance of, here you are now. This is where you want to be. Let's work out how you get there.
It's very pressuring, what's happening today, especially with social media. Like you see these amazing lives that are most of them are fake, but still you see them. You know what I mean? It's like you're still registering in your mind that this is something that somebody has and I don't.
Yeah.
And as women, we think that we should be able to do everything. The mother prototype that we were given, doing everything, and also being perfect at work. And in the end, we're burning out, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that balance is really difficult. And that's what I bring to the table because I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. I work a corporate role within a very large aviation company. It's very male dominated. The female-led roles tend to be in those traditional departments like human resources or training or learning and development, which is where I sit within the learning and development realm. And I could give up my corporate job. I could pursue my business full time. I've got no doubt that I would be able to do that, but I don't want to because my work in the corporate world is not done yet. I haven't made enough change yet. I haven't influenced enough. So I'm still working in this corporate role. I run the Female Creative, which I have the capacity to scale up or scale down dependent on where my priorities lie in that particular moment. 2023 was quite a tough year for me. We had quite a difficult house move. It was one of those situations where, you know, the new house wasn't quite ready, but we had to be out of the old house. We're a family of 4. We've got a bearded dragon. You know, how do we navigate that? We ended up living in a hotel for a month, which sounds really glamorous, but is not when, you know, it's kind of forced upon you. So I had to step back from my business, and I could have been really, really hard on myself. I could have really beat myself up about it. I actually had to take time away from my corporate role as well, because my family were my first priority. So I think when we start to realize that we can wear all these hats, but we have the ability and the power to say, well, actually right now, this hat has to have more attention from me. And I'm going to forgive myself, and I'm going to be kind to myself and have compassion for myself, rather than say, oh, but you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I very much, you know, I talk a lot about the shoulda, woulda, couldas. And, you know, first off, when I heard that, it was a song by Beverly Knight, who is an incredible vocalist. But actually, it's so applicable to women in business. We spend too much energy on the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I should be doing this. Oh yeah, but they would be doing that if they were me. Or I could be doing that side of things. And that takes up so much brain space. It takes up so much energy that we get overwhelmed and we stop. We don't pursue our dreams. We don't take the next step in our business. We don't go for that promotion in our corporate role. We don't leave our corporate role and follow our dreams. We don't take up that new hobby, because in our brains, we're having these shoulda, woulda, couldas going round and round and round and round, and it's preventing people from taking action. So for me, I want to live by example. I want to show that it is possible. You can have a corporate role. You can have a business. I also have a country music festival, which comes up every April. And don't get me wrong, I'm in one of my phases at the moment where I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? But I do it because I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm doing it because I can serve a community, because I can create community connections, because I can bring something to my local area that isn't in existence. And I have the ability to do that. So I have all these things. Plus I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I take care of the house, I have a dog, I'm very much primary carer for everybody. And what I want to demonstrate is you can push and pull back in those different roles that you have to suit what you need in that moment. But the biggest key to that is having that self-compassion.
Yeah, it's important. How do you do it? Like when you get to that point that you feel overwhelmed, and because life brings a lot in your plate, so there are some points in our life that we do feel like, okay, I have taken more than I can hold in this moment, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. So how do you personally handle that?
So for me, it's all about prioritization, and it's really implementing that practice of prioritization. So at the moment where I am, I know that the first quarter of each year is really busy, and I'm going to have those moments where I think I've taken on too much. Right now, I'm preparing for the Country Music Festival. I'm also on the board of directors as a non-executive for a local inspirational women's award ceremony, which is a big event down in our area in Portsmouth in the south of England. I have that. I'm speaking at a summit as well, which is then the week after the award ceremony. Then 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks after that, I have the Country Music Festival. So what I do to cope with that is when I start to get overwhelmed and all of these thoughts start spinning around in my head, I have to get them out. I have to write them down. So I use programs such as Asana, Trello. I also have a digital mind map software that I use that I can access on my phone. And actually, I did it the other night. I was in bed. I was trying to wind down. I couldn't. There were so many thoughts going around in my head. So I got out my phone. I got out the app for the mind map, and I just brain dumped. I brain dumped everything, because then it's out. And I find this a lot with my clients as well, is we hold so much internally, but if you can express it, if you can get it out, if you can dump it on a piece of paper or put it into some sort of project management software like Asana, or just tell somebody, have that conversation with a mentor or a coach, that in itself starts to reduce that feeling of overwhelm. The other thing that I then do is looking at all the thoughts that I'm having. What do I have to do right now? Because I put so much pressure on myself, and the type of personality I have, and I do have, I've been recently diagnosed with ADHD as well. So as a result, I want to do everything right now. I literally want to solve the world in the space of 1 hour. And that's a real challenge for me, because again, I have to practice that kind of compassion, that's not possible. I'll get to it when it's the right time to get to it. So again, I use programs, digital programs. I'm not a pen to paper kind of girl anymore, because my phone is always at the end of my hand. So if I can record it on my phone, if I can have it on my home screen as a widget, it reminds me that I need to do things, and it reminds me that I've got a priority order. And yes, I might want to go do this fun thing over there. Yeah, I might want to go write another blog. But actually, right now, I need to do the scheduling for my country music festival, or I need to reach out to the vendors that are going to be selling their products at the festival. I have to wait and do the fun stuff. And that's been a real lesson for me in discipline of not chasing the shiny things. And actually, right now, I need to prioritize this activity. If I can just get that done, I can then do the fun stuff. So it is a real mixture of mindset, but also physical activities to get all of those ideas out and allow you to prioritize them, and just be a little bit more disciplined with yourself to say, right, I'm going to do this first. If I do this thing first, some people talk about it along the lines of eating the frog. For somebody with ADHD, if I'm tackling the hardest thing first, I'm not going to get to it. So for me, I have to do something that is essential. I have to get it done, but it's slightly more simple than maybe some of the tougher tasks, because then I get that hit of dopamine. I feel like I've achieved something, and it motivates me on then to do the harder task. So there's a few kind of strategies in there, but it is a real mixture of using some tools, some digital tools, but also the mindset aspect.
Yeah. Prioritization is very important. And also when you see it in front of you, like the mind maps for me, it has been a game changer. I mean, I had times that I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I made a mind map and I went back to sleep. So I could leave my brain to rest, because I couldn't hold them in. Yes, it's so important. And also you see which ones you will attend first, right? If you do that. Because some are not important, but if I have them all in my head, I don't know exactly where I should turn. That's amazing.
Exactly that. It's that piece of clarity of actually, these are the things that I need to focus on, and all these other thoughts that were kind of floating around, I can actually park those for the moment, because they're not going to have an impact on what it is that I want to achieve. But yeah, the way to do that is get it out your head.
Yeah. So what are the 4 business foundations you support creative entrepreneurs and business founders in defining?
So what I started to create when I was creating my business myself, and then looking at the country music side of things, and previously I'd been a singer-songwriter, and I'd marketed myself and put on my own gigs and created my merchandise. When I was looking across all of that experience I had, I thought, how can I bring in almost the essential pillars of business, that if you can get those set up, any business can succeed. Any business can springboard off of those. So what I kind of came up with was the first foundation being messaging. Because if you're not clear who you're talking to, so that brings in your ideal client. If you're not clear how you're representing yourself, which brings in your branding. If you're not clear how you're going to get that message out there, which is all of your marketing activities, then you haven't got anything to say. And so I work with my clients, especially, and actually it doesn't matter if they're brand new or if they've been in business a while. I do find that some of these things are missed out, or not enough thought has been given to them. It's a little bit of kind of just, trial and see how you get on. So it's really good to revisit this messaging foundation and look at all of those aspects. Now, by no means it has to be perfect. I'm absolute advocate for it being just good enough, and I know I work with a lot of female entrepreneurs, and that's one of their biggest barriers, is they want it to be perfect first time. So a lot of the work I do is around taking away that need for perfection and really living that mantra that good enough is good enough. So it's really setting that messaging foundation, who you are, what you're talking about, who you're targeting, and how you're going to get that message out there. The second foundation then is about strategy. Now, don't get me wrong, there's strategy and messaging. But for me, building that foundation of strategy is all about busting the myth that strategy has to be complicated. Strategy is just working out what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you're going to get there. And that's where my goal setting method comes in, where I talk about setting 3 types of goals, making them realistic, but breaking those goals down into quarterly objectives. So in the 3 months of the year, what tangible things can you do that are going to move you closer to your goal? And the next step below that is, well, what are your monthly activities? So in your 3 months that you want to do this, what are those key components monthly that you can then put into your planning that enable you to hit those objectives? So that to me is the strategy side of things, and really getting to grips with creating your own roadmap of where you are now and where you want to get to in a certain time period. Then systems is my third business foundation. There are so many systems out there that make your life as a business owner easier. We've already mentioned Asana, Trello. There's loads of apps that really help you schedule, organize, project manage your ideas, goal set. There's also all of these automations, whether it be an email automation system linked into having your lead magnet and then having these automated emails that go out. So it doesn't matter when people sign up, they're getting exposure to you. New things like the messaging bots, ManyChat. How can you leverage these tools that really help you claw back a little bit of time? Because as business owners, one of the things that we lack is time, because there's so much to do. We're everything. We're the marketing department, the HR department, the sales department, the graphic designer. We're all of these roles. So the systems foundation is all about how can you put something in place that claws you back a little bit of time. And then the last one is all about mindset. A foundation around building your mindset. That is about banishing the shoulda, woulda, couldas, banishing overwhelm, and also comparison. And, I then work with my clients, and my content that goes out on social media is then all about reducing that overwhelm to allow you to build all the other foundations.
Wow. Look, it makes it look more attainable. The way that you're going about it is like, because again, through everything that we are bombarded today, we feel like everything has to be very complicated to succeed.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody to tell you that, it's just 4 pillars, we're going to work each one, and we can simply, get the ball rolling, let's say. So that's amazing. And especially for women, that we have to juggle both. And, because I see more and more women wanting to expand their career now, and they don't have the way to get there. So that's amazing what you're doing. So how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the best way to get in touch with me is Instagram is my main platform. That's where I put out most of my content. So my Instagram handle is @the_female creative. I am on Facebook, but I tend to be more in groups on Facebook. And then my website has all of the information that everybody needs. It's www.thefemalecreative.com. embarked.co.uk, and through that you can access my blogs, you can access previous podcast recordings, any other podcast recordings that I've kind of been part of where I've talked about strategies and tools, and yeah, just to find out a bit more about me, I would say Instagram and the website are the best places to go.
Perfect. Thank you very much for what you are offering to this world and for being here. It's been a great pleasure to have your insights, and I love it that you are lifting that weight of all our women's shoulders, you know.
Yes, I'm trying to. We're getting there one step at a time, because we don't have to do it all right now, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just one little change at a time. It means that we're on the right path. Yeah,
it's enough. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hannah. We will surely speak again. Until next time.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.